Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and it is Triple Play Day, so I am here with Misty and with Natalie, and we've got some fun projects for you today. Now, I know that when you get to be a certain level of quilter, you get invited to a lot of baby showers, or you have grandchildren, or you just want to make baby quilts, and so we have a great idea for a baby quilt and a couple of other fun projects, and we're going to show you that quilt in 3 different lines of fabrics. So it's going to be very fun for you. Hopefully, it was very fun for us as well. Anyway, this is my quilt right here. And girls, if you want to pull yours out so we can see yours as well.
Yeah, I think they're really
cute.
cute.
So it's the same pattern, but 3 different fabrics. And I just think they look darling. Aren't they so cute? And it's just different uses of things. They each had a panel. Misty's panel was large, so she couldn't use it. So hers is strictly layer cakes. I had a panel. And Natalie had fabric she could
fabric
fussy
with
cut.
large prints on it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Very fun. So it was just very fun. We're going to show you how to make the quilt and 2 other fun projects. So to make this quilt, you're going to need 1 layer cake. Actually, you need about 20 squares, and so it's nice to have some to pick from.
You could probably make multiple quilts.
you
Maybe you're
actually
having twins or triplets.
That's true.
Well, yes, you actually could. So my fabric line is called D is for Dinosaur, and it is by Paint Love Studio for dear Stella. And Misty?
Mine is called Little Things, and it's by the Riley Blake Design Team.
I love it when they do that.
They work together.
All the designers
The collaboration
make
is
it.
so great.
It's really fun. And yours?
And I've got Lucky Rabbit by Heather Ross for Wyndham, and I just love it.
They're
I've been a
all
Heather
so
Ross
cute.
fan for years.
Yes, and it's just darling. The colors are so bright and happy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're also going to need some background, and that is for this inner border right here and for the little star points. And so for me, it was about 3/4 of a yard. Natalie has a little bit bigger inner border, so a yard's going to cover all that. However, they also have these cool 2.5-inch squares.
Precut is
Precut.
awesome.
It does
Which
save you some time.
I love it. It does save a lot of time to use those. For the border, my border's a 5-inch border, and Misty's 2. I think, Natalie, yours is 6. For the border, it's going to take 3/4 of a yard. Again, if you want a bigger border, just buy a yard and, size up. It doesn't take very many strips to go around a baby quilt.
Right.
Our backing is 3 yards, and I have this
so cute.
dinosaur. Yours is
Adorable.
Mine
a
is
nice soft white.
Nope, just soft white. Yeah.
And mine are these cute words.
Oh, the words.
There
I
are
love
so
them.
many.
I
There's so
love
many great
words.
fabrics.
Yeah, really cute. Anyway, shall we show them how to make this quilt, girls?
Yes.
do it.
It's such an easy block.
It really is an easy block. Now, this is Misty's block from your Stars and Stripes.
Yeah, Sawtooth Stars and Stripes.
It's a Sawtooth Star, but I just love the way it's done. So basically, we are going to stack these, and we're going to cut the block down to 9.5 inches. So I'm going to take a 1/2 inch off of 2 sides. So that'll be this side right here and this side right here. Now, you can do this with any size square that you want. And but for this, I was trying to match my panel. So this is my panel right here. Girls, why don't we show the panel?
Oh, yes, mine's over here.
And then Natalie just has fabric that you can fussy cut out of. So this was my panel. And the size I got from cutting these was 8.5. And so I wanted my star squares to match the 8.5 panel. Misty's are large, so she wasn't able to use her panel in it.
But it's so cute. I wanted you to see it.
Well, and at least, you could put this on the back.
Absolutely.
It would be really
These would make great pillows.
Yes.
They would make great
A little wall
art.
hanging
Like you
for
could put it in
art.
a frame
wall art.
or
Yep.
yeah.
all the things. So
And look how cute this is with the little.
I love the little blanket
reading
forts.
fort.
And-
I love it.
And when you use fabric with a ruler, it's called fussy cutting because you're making sure that your little design is like right in the center of your square, which you can see on hers, happens several different times.
Yep.
you know.
There's cute
so
little
cute.
And
houses
so it's
and
just
toys,
darling.
Little dollhouse.
All right. So again, my squares ended up 8.5, so I wanted my stars to end up 8.5, so I'm taking my 10-inch square and I'm cutting it down to 9.5, and then we're just going to cut in 2.5 inches
On
all
4
the
sides.
way around. Do we have our, oh, we do. This is so helpful for making this right here.
Yes, a rotating mat
A
is
rotating
very
mat.
helpful.
It's very helpful, and if you want, you can actually, if you have a small mat, just turn it. It makes it really easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler and we're going to come in 2.5 inches, and I'm going to make a cut, and then I'm going to turn it and do it on all 4 sides. So 2.5, like that.
This is just such an easy way to make stars.
It really is. It's so quick.
And this way, one more. And then one more down here on this side. There we go. All right.
Perfect.
So now these ones here, these 4.5 by 2.5s are what's going to have our star legs on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these and we're just going to put a star leg on both sides, but we are going to chain piece these through. And what we'll do right here is you can draw the line, you can use your diagonal seam tape, you can iron it, whatever. But for this, we're just gonna come straight down the side.
Point to point.
And we're gonna do that. Natalie, let's make your block.
I would love that. And make 2 of them, one for you and one for me.
We can.
Oh, you don't want to make
Do
yours?
we have more
Well,
squares?
I have, we do have more squares.
Okay.
And I have one already finished.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we'll show this one.
Awesome.
And if, you know, if all your seams, the stars align, everything is perfect, it should be 8.5 when we're done. All right, so then when...
If not, though, make your blocks first and then make all of your panel pieces that size.
Exactly.
Yes, I always match
Then you don't
my...
have to worry about your block coming. If it comes out 8 or something else, it's
I do
no
match
big
my
deal.
panel to my blocks, or my blocks to my panel. I do my block first because that's the piece that has the cut work that...
Well, and your seam allowance can vary
vary.
from...
So I'm trimming these, leaving 1/4 inch, and making sure I'm trimming the outside corner. And then I'm going to hand them back to Misty, and she's going to take...
Sorry,
oh, you
I
have
stole
some of those
them.
squares?
Yep.
Okay. And we're going to put a square on the other side right here, and again, so toward the middle.
Yep.
And we've got those right there, and she can chain piece those. And then,
You can see how quick it
Gonna
goes
go
when you
together so fast.
chain piece. Yeah.
yeah, I love this. This little star has just been so fun for me. I may do a full-on tutorial for you guys using this star. Matter of fact, I have one in the works. All right, I'm going to grab these and start
right.
trimming. Natalie can start pressing.
Yep. We just have one more to sew here. There we go.
And then we'll put our block together. And just by making those 4 cuts, we get all the pieces. We get the side pieces, we get the corner pieces, everything. We get it all done. So here's our middle that we had out of the cuts. And Misty's going to sew these 2 to this side like this with the legs in. And then these each get one of these corner squares sewn on both sides right here. So I'll let you go ahead and do this one,
Sure.
and then we'll get this ready for you. Put your fabrics right sides together.
Oops, I threw it on the
Oh,
ground.
I got
I'm
it.
sorry.
Uh-oh.
No worries.
Thank you.
That happens sometimes.
Yep.
Well, especially when you stack them up on the tray.
Yeah, it's slippery.
Now, I had some of these, because not all my lines are exactly perfect. I had some where my squares kind of winged out to the side. I just centered it up and knew that I was going to catch that in my seam. So you can go down this side, and then you can just flip it and go down the other side. And then we're just going to sew the rows together, and just like that,
Just like that.
just like that, we're going to get a star. So I was going to call this block Dino Stars, but mine's the only dinosaur line, so I had to call it Baby Stars. We're calling this Baby Stars.
They're so sweet. The little
Well, and
little babies.
it's such a fun block, especially for a baby quilt, because it is so quick, but it's adorable, and it can show off the cute baby prints
Yeah.
because you have that big middle.
Totally.
I think you've got that going the opposite. I was going to press the seams.
Oh,
That's all right. I can make it
my,
behave.
Okay.
my little Natalie, who thinks way ahead. I'm just like, let's get this together. And Natalie's like,
Here's
if
the
you do
other
these,
end. I was just going to make
if you
it
do these
easy.
out, then those will go in. If your middle seams go in and the outside seams go out, everything will nest perfectly. Actually, to be honest, I rarely iron when I'm sewing my star together. I just sew the thing together and then I press it. So, but we all have our different ways. Mm-hmm. What do you do, Misty?
I usually press.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to flip those seams. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No problem.
That's all right. We can press them
I'll
again.
flip them back.
Right.
It is all good. There we go.
Nice.
Now, for this next part, it would be super helpful to have an 8.5-inch ruler because that's the block size I ended up with. And so you want to take your little star as soon as we get it.
Especially if you're fussy cutting, because then you can really work with that
And you
block.
can see what's under there.
For mine, I just cut down my layer cake squares, so I just used a regular ruler.
It just
That's true.
is what it is. Okay.
All right. So
looks
here's
great.
my little 8.5. You can put it on here. You can see that it is like
pretty
just
darn perfect.
pretty darn perfect. And so then I came over here to my little dinosaurs. And this is my little star block here.
So cute.
Adorable.
And then some of them you can see right away are bigger than the 8.5. So I had to make some decisions about
How to center it.
how to center it. Yeah, and I wanted to make sure the name was in it, and I wanted to make sure I didn't cut off the head. I felt like losing the tail was a little bit easier.
It's a compromise.
So because of this, because of the way they're placed, I actually cut a couple out of another panel.
Oh.
Because this one, even though there's 10, when you get up here, you're into the next name. So you lose the name. So they're not exactly right. So I actually had to cut into the next one.
Okay.
But this little
But even if you didn't want to do that and only wanted one panel, you could supplement it with your layer cake squares and those other ones.
totally could. You
Yeah.
totally
Yeah,
could use
good
the layer
idea.
cake squares and all those because there's lots of really darling layer cake
Yep.
squares in here. So that's what I did on that, and then I just matched these together. You know, I put every other block. This is the star and the dinosaur and the star and the dinosaur. So Natalie,
Just alternate.
let's look at your fussy cutting
Okay. Do you want this fabric up?
right here. Well, I just want if we can probably just show this
Okay.
and see
So
the
we've got
Oh,
cute
those
little
little
houses.
houses.
she made the stars, and then she's got the cute little houses around here.
And the blanket forts.
I just love it.
It's so cute.
Yeah, darling.
And then this one over here, Misty just used straight layer cake squares.
Yep.
So
Which is
she just
so
cut those
sweet.
down to match the star. So these were cut to 8.5.
Right. And even if you do use the layer cake squares, it still only takes half of your pack.
Right,
Yeah,
it's
so
20
you can make
squares
multiple.
total.
Yep.
20 squares total. So you can make 2 baby quilts out of this, out of this one pattern.
Yep.
So then Misty and Natalie each have another project for us that they're going to show us. So lots of fun stuff coming up, and we'll let you get set up for that, girls, and
All right.
show
Okay.
that project. Which one of you is next?
We'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so I decided to use a project that was from our issue of Baby Block that came out a few years ago.
2018.
2018, I know.
babies
These
are all
babies
4.
are growing up.
Five.
It flew by, but there's a great little burp cloth pattern in here, and I thought it would be really fun to set one of our star blocks in there, and so it gives you just a little
That's
ooh,
so
aw.
cute.
It's so cute.
It's just really cute, and I did alter it just slightly so that I didn't cut into the block, so we have a great little printable for you that shows you the changes I made from the original pattern.
That
so
is awesome.
Yeah.
be sure to
super
print
easy.
that, but it's really quick and easy. So let me just show you what I did. The measurement that we are looking for that burp cloth rectangle is 9.5 by 26.5. So I went ahead and cut a piece of flannel for the backing out of that.
Makes it so soft.
Yeah, and it just gives you
So
a really
9.5
soft look.
by what again?
26.5.
26,
So
okay.
that's what we have here. And then we're going to take 2 of our star blocks, and we are going to sash 2 opposite sides and the bottom edge with a 1-inch strip. So I have this, Natalie.
Okay.
If you want to sew this on,
I do.
1 inch.
1 inch, you can do it.
You can do it.
And I have the other one ready. This
It's
is what I
not
mean.
so scary. Oh,
that
on
we're
3
going for.
sides, not
On-
all 4.
Yep, just 3 sides.
Okay.
So that's what we're looking for.
All right.
So we can do that side, the opposite, and then we'll trim it square and then do the bottom. Here's some scissors if you want to just
Just
Sometimes
you
I
can-
just do
Oh yeah,
this.
that's true. That totally works.
Oh yeah, I do
And
that
then
too.
flip it around. Yeah,
Yep.
as long as the strip is long enough, that absolutely works.
Just a little hack, a little speed hack.
I like it.
Well, we're all looking for ways to not have to leave our chairs.
Right?
Exactly.
If I don't
Save
have
a
to
little
get
time.
up twice.
We make a little nest. We have our ironing station, our cutting, you know, everything right there, so we can just do.
I know when I was working on it, I got so frustrated because I misplaced my scissors, and so then I had to go
Oh my
wander around and find my scissors.
And who knows when you'll get back.
And you find
Exactly.
20 pair that don't cut.
Did you get it?
Yeah, it was just a
A little narrow.
little narrow on
That's
that
all right.
section, so I just wanted to check.
No worries.
And then
So we'll press these back real quick, and then we'll trim them off.
Oh,
No, it's okay.
there we go.
Awesome. And so then I just straightened up this little edge really quick to make sure we didn't have anything too wonky. Sometimes our seams aren't perfect, but that is okay. Mine was
It's all
pretty
good.
crooked there. All right, and so now we're just going to add that 1-inch strip to the bottom side,
okay,
which
cool.
is just one of them. It
Doesn't matter
doesn't
because there's
matter.
not unless
will
it's
become the bottom
directional.
side.
Exactly.
This is so darling.
It's really
Fun, isn't
cute.
it?
I just can't get over how cute this is with the little star in it.
Yeah.
Now, I would for sure use it. Let the baby barf on this
that
side, you know.
But I was thinking about that too, and I realized, you know what?
It's washable.
It doesn't
It's
matter.
washable, and that time can be so hard for new mamas. And so if you just have something cute to get through it, that's okay too.
Really okay. Really
Wow.
okay.
The whole thing could be made from flannel too.
Oh, it
Because there's
absolutely
tons
could.
of great baby
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah.
It's true.
Or even just, you know, flannel in
go.
general. They don't even have to be babyish. They could just be.
It's true. I
Pretty.
I made one that is just straight flannel.
Oh,
And
so
this is
cute.
made exactly like the pattern from Baby Block. So this curve is a little bigger. That's the only difference.
They go together so easy.
They
and quick.
do. All right, and so now we're going to trim off these edges. Make sure they're nice and square.
And these shoulder things, that's such a great gift to give when
Yeah. Well,
know.
and it's so quick, especially if you've already done the quilt, then it just, you know, it's one more little thing to throw in there. All right, so now we have our 2 stars bordered on 3 sides with our 1-inch strip, and in between we're just going to set a 9.5-inch square.
Perfect.
Nice.
And so we can just sew 1 to each side.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, things like this are so much easier than you think they are. I mean, that looks like, I could never
It
do
is
that.
not hard at
Yeah.
all.
Not.
But it's our same star that we showed you in the beginning.
Exactly. Well, and it was like a little miracle when I realized that I still needed to cut my layer cake square to 9.5 for the middle, which is the exact same size I had to cut it to make the star. I was like,
Oh, perfect.
that's just magic.
Yeah,
I can't mess it up that way.
it's perfect.
There we go.
Yes, and the open side is what you're seaming. That's one where I would be like, oh shoot, and I would have
Yeah.
gotten it turned and had an open side.
Yeah, I'm glad you
backwards.
pointed that out because I didn't probably make that very clear.
No, but that is something I would do because I get on a
Yeah.
roll and I don't even look at it, you know, and I'm
Absolutely.
just like, okay, this block goes in between, and I would forget that open side goes to the
Yep.
into the seam. All right, then we press.
Okay, yep, if you could press that.
I
And then I
can.
will get this ready. We are just going to stack these up. Like I said, I already trimmed my flannel down to the 9.5 by 26.5, so we can just put these right sides together now. And I like working with the flannel because it kind of holds it,
It sticks,
in
yeah.
place.
Kind of like a little.
Like pins
Yeah.
almost. So let's just make sure it is as straight as possible on here.
Very nice.
There we go. And then we're going to fold this in half. Line up my bottom edges. You just want to take your time to get that right. And then we can turn it like this, and we're going to measure to cut out that curve. And so to do that, Do we have a pin?
We do.
I forgot to grab one.
There's
Here we
little,
go.
Yeah, a little fabric.
So what I did is I just picked one edge and I measured over 5 inches and made a little mark. And then I measured down 3.5 because that gave me plenty of room to stay away from my block. I didn't want to cut into that. And so then I made a little mark here and I just drew a curve and connected those two.
Perfect.
Just like that.
Nice.
And then I just...
I will say, like, in my head, I would have been like, I need to go find like a plate or
Yeah, you totally could.
something that already has a curve and use that as a
You totally could. I just was like, meh, good enough. And then
I love it.
I just cut like that. It's really
The
forgiving.
drunkard's path would probably work.
You know, it probably would. It would probably work great.
Well, and honestly,
so
lay it on
funny.
your shoulder and see if it's
If
the
it's
right.
comfortable.
If it's
Yeah.
comfortable, yeah.
Absolutely. And then now we can just, if you wanted to round this out a little bit more, you open it up and look. And then I would just fold it back. And you would, to do that, you just go down a little bit straighter here. And then curve. And so it is really forgiving, especially once
Yeah.
we stitch these
Oh, yeah,
together.
that
Like
looks
I'm
good.
not worried
Totally.
about this because we're going to catch this and can straighten it up in our seam. And so now we are just going to sew all the way around the outside, leaving an opening to turn it.
On a straight side.
Exactly. I did it opposite of my
Oh, okay.
my curve every time. And then my brain was like, once I got to the curve, I knew it was time to stop again.
Okay.
And so then I just turned it right side out and top stitched all the way around.
And that closes
And
up
that closes
little
up your
edge.
opening and it is done.
Yeah, no hand
That is
sewing.
so
nothing.
Exactly.
Just
It's
quick and
really,
easy.
really quick. And like I said,
look.
I did this one with the block on one side and flannel on the other.
All I need is a baby.
Exactly.
So cute. I love it.
You can just snuggle little Henry right
Right.
with that. And then
Yes.
I made the one that's all flannel, and I did one also just out of
The cottons.
the regular cottons, and they all turned out great. So I will say when
I
I
love
did this
these.
straight cotton, I added a stabilizer to one side.
Oh, you did?
Just to give
thicken
it
it
some
up a
body.
little?
Yep. But that is it. It's really quick and easy.
That
so
is
So
awesome.
fun.
Natalie, you're up next.
Okay, yay. Okay, so I am teaching this curved pillow, which I think is kind of a must-have for any new mama.
Oh, it's so
Makes-
handy.
Makes
Yep.
holding your baby a lot more relaxing and comfortable.
And you could actually sit the little baby in here.
You could.
All the things.
Don't leave your baby unattended with this pillow.
That's right.
That's I have to throw that out there, this disclaimer.
That just goes unsaid, you know.
Yep, without saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have a pattern for the pillow, but what I wanted to do was add this block into the pillow top. I thought it would be so cute to put that in there. So I'm going to teach you how to do that part.
Oh, that's really cool.
So in the curvy pillow pattern, it has all the little pieces, and you could trace them, which is super easy. This is the actual size that they need to be. So what I did though, because I'm a little bit lazy, I didn't want to trace every piece by hand, so I traced one piece, and then I adjusted the settings on my printer until they matched.
Oh.
So then I could just, print them off. But you
Perfect,
could
great
also
idea.
just
I was
take
gonna say,
this
you
and
could copy
photocopy
it,
them, or
yeah.
you could unstaple it and just use these pieces because you're not going to need, once you've cut them out and made your pattern, you don't need them. So you tape them all together just like this by matching together the A1, A1, B1, B1.
Okay.
All of your pieces match together.
Just a
You
big
tape the whole
puzzle.
thing together, and it's so easy to
basically,
use.
With this as your pattern, I mean, these are all done with strips, which is what the pattern's written for. But
Exactly.
you could use yardage, you could use
Yep.
any,
So all you're looking for
anything.
is a square that's like 17 by 23.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
18 by 23.
Okay.
So like a half yard really, and that makes the front. And then you'll need it, larger for the back. And what I did is I just used my back or my top piece as my pattern and cut my back to fit.
Oh, there you go.
Because then if you have a seam or you have a fold, it doesn't matter. Your size is going to be the same size,
Yeah.
right? So, and the pattern is cool because it gives you an insert and then shows you, tells you how to put a zipper on it. So you could take this cover off and wash it, and then your insert can stay formed the way you want it.
Right,
And then
okay.
so it's really cool. It's got all
Very
the
cool.
information that you need.
And again, we're using the star block.
The baby star block
Yeah,
or
the
the
baby
stars and
stars.
stripes block, wherever you want to find it. Okay, so this is what we're going for.
It's so cute.
And I just love it. I think
love
it's
it too.
darling. The other
Adorable.
thing that I think hopefully this inspires you to just think outside the box as far as all of these projects. You could put any little block that you wanted to
Sure.
into anything.
Just use
You know,
scraps.
a lampshade,
Yeah.
a purse, a diaper bag. You could sew a pocket onto something with a block, with your little
Absolutely.
cute blocks, and they're so fun. Okay, so what we're gonna do is cut, because this block is 8.5, we're gonna cut an 8.5-inch block for one side, or square, and an 8.5 by 7, but you really could do 8.5, 8 by
'Cause you're
8.5 if
just
you
trimming
wanted
it
to.
off.
Right, it's just,
Okay.
you know, a little bit long on that side. So I've got my main block here, and I've got these strips cut. We're gonna put the 7 by 8.5 on one side and 8.5 square on the other side. Did I cut that too
Nope, it's right.
short?
This one's right.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Maybe I was like, oh shoot, did I make it 7 square?
Sure
That
that you
happens
know.
sometimes. You never know.
You just
See
never
what
know.
we're doing.
All right, so this one.
And this goes on the other end, so that your star fits on this one side.
Yeah, you could do anything with this. I mean, any layer cakes. You can make patchwork.
And we do have a nice little printable that you can get to accompany your pattern if you want the measurements, or you could just, you know.
Aw.
Follow along.
Isn't that
And
cute?
he's sitting right over there.
Oh, our
He's
little pattern cover
he's here
bear.
to watch it.
Adorable.
All right, now what do we do?
So the main thing is you want to measure this, which it should measure about 23. It's about 24. So you're going to want your strips to be that length, and I went with a 5-inch on both sides. That way I
Okay.
could cut the curve and have enough room for this space
And so this
for
is
it not to cut into the block.
Sure.
So these are actually 5 by 23. We'll have to trim it down.
Shall I just pull it in an inch?
If you want to, that'd be perfect.
All right.
Because honestly, all of that gets cut off.
That outside edge is trimmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's very forgiving, isn't it?
It's super forgiving.
And this is one of those projects that looks like you worked so dang hard.
Yeah.
So cute.
It's pretty easy though once you get it.
And people will be like, wait, what? You
You
made
made
that?
yeah.
Which is what we're always going for, right?
Right.
Yep.
A little wow
We
factor.
want the wow
a little
factor.
impressive is
Yeah.
always good.
You could always just give some fabric in the pattern and let them.
There you go. To the quilting mama, make your own present.
Oh
As if they don't have enough going on.
no! No kidding.
Hey, it seemed like a good idea at the time. All right.
Excellent. So
All
press
right.
that. Let me move this out of the way
Of course.
and grab this pattern, which is so nicely taped together. It is actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. It was kind of fun putting this
Well, and
together.
a lot of people now are buying online patterns, which require some of this. So I think it's really cool that you showed people. Now, originally, Natalie copied this at 100%, thinking that was the same thing.
It's
and
not.
And the
You can't-
pieces were huge. And so you just have to make sure your pieces fit the pattern pieces.
Right. All right, so this is where it gets kind of tricky, not scary, but you want to make sure that your star doesn't get caught in the curve. So what I did is I kind of lined it up with these lines, these square lines, because it's just about 8 inches. It works out perfectly.
You'll want to come a little
So,
bit forward a
yep,
little bit
you want to
more.
make sure you're centered. I lined up with the edge.
And normally, if you were making this just out of yardage, you would have a fold right here.
Yep.
But she's leaving a 1/4 inch, so we can seam that.
Yep, but it could be fold or seam. Really, it's a 1/2 inch difference. So if you just measure your back to your top, they'll both fit together, and it doesn't
Perfect.
really
True.
matter. So yeah, I have that space. I'm checking to make sure I'm not going to cut my block here, and then honestly, that's all it is. And I could cut. You can pin it and cut with scissors, or you can just kind of go around the edge using your. It's a huge curve, so it's very easy. Oops, sorry, Misty.
No, you're totally fine.
I'm just leaning around you.
That's all right.
Do you know what's interesting is, I was a clothing sewer before, and we pinned everything, and now they use weights.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I think
Weights-
is
I
really
was
cool.
just thinking of that.
Weights
Because at
work
some
great.
point, I remember going and getting my silverware out and putting all my knives on my pattern,
I'm going to
so
turn this a little
I was
bit.
probably a little bit ahead of the time, but you could use weights
Yeah,
or you
but
can
weights
use
will
pins
work,
or-
pins will work,
They even have little magnets now.
magnets. any of those things
Or
to help you.
slow rotary cutting.
Slow cutter.
Exactly. Take your time.
Yep. And look at that.
That is awesome.
You've
so
got it. All right, so now we're ready to cut the other side of our top. And you're going to want to make sure that you put your right sides together so that they come out facing the right direction. So we shall lay this down.
Yeah, so you put right sides
And
together.
line those up so that they match. Make sure you don't have your selvage down there in the bottom of your curve.
That would be a sad day.
Well, it just won't look very nice, you
Yeah.
know? I'm going to use that straight edge so I don't have to cut that one section, which,
Perfect.
you know, it's fine. And we're going to go ahead and do this again. Going around our curves. And
No, and if you're uncomfortable rotary cutting this, you can
scissors
use a
work
scissor.
great.
Yeah.
I scissor
You can
cut
even
it at
draw
my
it
desk.
on. You know, you could draw it on and then just cut it out with a scissor.
Yep.
But
I've also seen a lot of people, they'll just still use their ruler and just move it along
Use
the
it as a
edge.
guide. You
Yep.
can do that too.
so it's just kind
Totally.
of makes it safe.
Yep.
Yep.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
All right, so then you're just going to stitch this straight seam,
Okay.
and then we'll cut the back and we'll be ready to go. And you can sew them together, flip them right side out, add a zipper if you want to,
Yeah.
or sew it, just do a little hand stitch
we'll-
on that edge.
Well, then this become your pattern.
This becomes the pattern for your back piece because you have a seam in it. Will you press that for
Yep,
me?
I'll press it and there's your
And then what we're
extra
going to do
fabric.
is use this fold so that we don't have to seam the back, because that just saves us one seam, right?
It does, yeah.
All right.
This is so cute
Okay.
with the little star block.
It
looks
is
adorable.
so cute. So now we're going to cut the piece that goes on the back, and you know, remember you have the option to make yours have a zipper or whatever the pattern says. You can do all of that. I'm going to use this finished seam as a fold line and line it up with the fold of my fabric so that I
Perfect.
don't have to sew that and have one more seam on this pillow. I'm going to line it up close to the edge so I don't waste fabric, because you never know, I might want that.
Yes, you might.
And as long
you know
these
what?
are folded right sides out on both pieces so that they match. If you had them wrong sides together, that would match as well. You just want your pieces to come out both facing the same direction.
I feel like this fold is important, so
It is.
the non-pinner is going to pin.
All right then.
And just make sure
I'll
that your
stick a
pin
few
is
out here
away
as
from
well.
your edge so that when you cut, you know,
You
you
don't
don't
run
run
over
over
it.
it.
Yep.
So cute.
I'm just going to go for it here. Don't be afraid. Just do it.
You can do it.
Oops. Just, oh, sorry.
It's only fabric, right?
It's only fabric. You can fix it up. Although, if you're worried at all, do a tracing, use scissors, whatever you decide. There are a lot of ways to get from point A to point B on this project.
On any project,
On
really.
all
you know.
projects.
It's so true.
There we go.
Okay, so now we'll pull this apart, and you're going to want to stitch them wrong sides together so that when you flip it right side out, your pretty fabric is on the outside.
Yeah, you're going to stitch it right sides together.
Yes, sorry, right sides together, wrong sides out. Leave a little opening. If you're going to put a zipper in. If you're not, hand stitch it shut.
Yep.
And
Here's the
that's-
little striped version.
and that's
the
it.
original. So cute.
It's
So
really
fun.
cute. Well,
Here
awesome.
it is with this cute little top.
Yep.
You get the idea.
I love it.
Turns out so fun.
Perfect. It's very
adorable.
fun.
So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the curvy pillow, and don't be afraid. It is easier than you think, I
It really
promise.
So now that you know how to make this cute star, you can actually make these 3 different projects.
So fun.
So fun. And we hope that you enjoyed this triple play from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and I am here with Natalie and with Misty, and we hope you enjoyed watching our latest triple play. You can find us together on the 3rd Friday of each month as we hit another tutorial out of the park. If you aren't already part of the Missouri Star Quilt Company family, be sure to subscribe and click that bell to be notified each time we release a new video. See you next time.